Malgranix in service of my lady, it behooved us that there should be Synne. Genesis 1:26. Synne is Behovibl. Guigno Sach-ie-o Schmuerz. Split a piece of wood, and I am there. Lift up a stone, and you will find me there. Gospel of Thomas, verse 77 c.d. The Phoenix. A small bird so flew, first one direction, then a second, then a third, and a fourth, from above to below and all around, identifying its inness within all, pervading the entire universe with thoughts of benevolence, compassion, joyous sympathy, equanimity. Great and wide, deep and boundless, its heart grown, purified of ill will, found a pearl and that put into its quiet nest. Watching it fluttering, trying to understand with all its will and all its strength, the jewel, one moment was enough in repaying all the trials I have ever endured. Synne is Behovibl. An altar was erected in Athens with this inscription, to the unknown God. Ionia, the first emanation of the true but unknown God, and also the begetter in thought of inspired visions, with the ability of seeing the eternity in all things, and thus the mother of all poetry. I forgot all concerning the pearl that lies in the sea hard by the loud-breathing serpent, and became a slave, sinking down into a deep sleep. Part the first. Oh, what venerable and reverend creatures! Immortal cherubim, sparkling angels, and maids, strange seraphic pieces of life and beauty. Hyssops of humility, set on fire by charity. I admire the perfection of thy fruitive love, so divine and perfect a thing. An ecstasy, always. I enjoy the sight and company of you darlings, and pass my whole time in contemplation of your beauty. Clothe thyself with the garment of nothingness and drink of the cup of annihilation. Cover thy breast with an nirvana abeyant and draw over thy head the glorious robe of non-existence, the splendid Tyrian mantle of sparkling colors. A thought is like the stream of a river, without any staying power. As soon as it is produced, it breaks up and disappears. Like fire, like lightning, like the sea boiling with life, itself floweth in your veins, away from a single source, not like one particular breath or warmth, but as if it were a single quality containing in itself and preserving all qualities, sweet taste and smell and the quality of wine with all other flavors, visions of colors and all that touch perceiveth, all, too, that hearing hears, all tunes and every rhythm, a perpetually flowing quiddity pouring out into the world of mundane matter, multiplicity, and time, till you are clothed with the heavens and crowned with the stars, and the stars are your jewels to put on and wear as an adornment, like images, traces, shadows, which hurry away to that which they image, like a beautiful reflection invested on water. If love be the weight of the soul and its object the center, an innocent malefactor, yet greatest in the world, the root of comforts and the fountain of celestial joys, supreme and sovereign spectacle in the worlds, a well of life in which we see the face of heaven above, the world is a mirror of infinite beauty, a temple of majesty, girt round with the wall of paradise, the door whereof is guarded by the most proud angel of reason, and unless vanquished, the way will not lie open. A region of light and peace. A paradise where pure, absolute and immutable, the mystery of mysteries, most incomprehensible, most luminous, most exalted, the place of angels and the gate of heaven, the great gate of charity is wide open with no obstruction whatever before it. The inexpressible, inconceivable beauty of all, which stays within the holy sanctuary and does not come out where the profane may see it. It filled me with a rapture, an ecstasy, an inflatus. I asked the heavens, sun and moon and stars, and I replied unto all the things which encompass the door to my flesh, veiled in the dazzling obscurity of the secret silence, outshining all brilliance with the intensity of its darkness, and surcharging blinded intellect with utterably impalpable and invisible fairness of glories surpassing pulchritude. Sempiternity was manifest in the seed of the lucid light of the day and shineth radiance of the omnific darkness, and the darkness overpowers it not. With much ado I was corrupted and made to learn the dirty devices of this world, which I now unlearn, the two loves that rule masterfully in the pneuma, eros, the love of the heart, and agape, ecstatic love. Passion perfected in love, a divine intoxicant. And from the discovery and conviction of my secret faults, I came to wonder at the depth of wisdom, I came to bear witness of that light, and I perceived in some measure that the Logos was made flesh, full of grace and truth, this excellent beauty, and I was filled with awe. And suddenly, forth flashed a winged harbinger of flame, a fulgurous scintillation, a tongue of fire, saying, "See the fount from which you flow, and seeing lose yourself therein." My torrid heart was dusty, parched for want of the rains of deep feelings, my mind was arid and dry. Too late I loved thee, O thou beauty of ancient days. Yet ever now. Too late I loved thee. And behold, thou wert within and I abroad. And there I searched for thee, thou wert with me, but I was not with thee. And I came to wonder. Part the second. I sought a soul in the sea and found a coral there, beneath the foam for me, an ocean was all laid bare. Into my heart's night, along a narrow way I groped, and lo! Light, an illimitable land of day. Into verdant fields, the life-giving herb of the world, that every bough and fruit might show forth her various perfections. Along the path to death I move. A wisp of smoke to heaven we raise. The wayless way in which all lovers lose themselves. The loved one's rose part ere I went to see, that beauty's torch espied me, and couth, when she loves. She does so with her will. She works with her powers and not her essence, brought into play through her eyes and of that inward glow so bright. Wherever beauty shone in rosy cheek, love lit her torch from that flame. Wherever beauty dwelt in fruitive tresses, she came and found a heart entangled within those coils. What profits rosy cheeks, forms full of grace, and ringlets clustering round a lovely face? Garden and mead are in radiance dight, and dewine the rose adorns in lustre bright. 2. Thou hast striken my heart, and I loved thee. Not elegance of bodies, nor fair harmony of time, nor brightness of light, so gladsome to our eyes, incomprehensible light, through simple nudity which enfolds, and vehement yearnings and plats of love adorned with all good things, I find myself, and feel myself, to be the same light by which I see, and nothing else. And it brings about a divine fruition in the abyss of the ineffable. Nor sweet melodies of varied songs, nor the fragrant smell of flowers, and ointments, and spices, not manna and honey, not limbs acceptable to embracements of flesh. 3. And here there is death in fruition, and a melting and moribundity into the essential nudity where all the living images reflected in the mirror of divine truth lapse. Clothed with heavens, entering into an estate of peace and delight and sweetness of love, passing into my inmost parts, only by movement of my heart did I recognize her presence, and by the flight of all vices from me, and by the suppression of all carnal desires, I pass beyond power of my nature, beyond quickening and extending, rising by degrees. I come to the fields and spacious palaces of my memory, where are the treasures of innumerable images. I recalled the mystery and beauty of the flesh. I was rapt and carried away full of aspiration, steeped to the honeyed lips of my soul in so strong a desire of glorious felicity that I know by the strength and vehemence of desires. Infinitely delightful, so august and insatiable, the deep longings of her aspirations. Her loving fervor. Her confident anticipation cannot vie in sweetness with the honey, in gentleness with the pasque lamp, in whiteness with the lily. A very fair flower is the lily, clarity with the sun. It is impossible that a soul should love thus and not be beloved. 4. The soul longs to pour out words of praise, but it is sweet unrest, and cannot contain itself. Already the flowers are opening, and beginning to give off scent. Bliss and comfort to the soul that the soul would never willingly abandon. Thou breathest odors and I drew in breath and pant for thee. I tasted, and hunger and thirst. Thou touchest me, and I burned for thy peace, thy heat, sweetness, and song. If we do not quench this jubilatio through our own fault, it begins to incense a great inferno which throws out flames of the mighty love, and endows the quintessence of the perfect. With thee, my flame, I burn. Without thee, die. How fairest thou without me, O my whole. 5. The soul leaps out of itself like a burning fire that has become one whole flame and increases with great force. The flame leaps very high above the fire. The soul goes forth to deprive itself of desire, and by denial and deprivation that is faith, in order that it may come within quintessence. Part the 3rd. I turned to the blue heaven, gazing into its depth, inhaling its exquisite color and sweetness, the rich blue of the unattainable flower of the sky in ecstasy. She desires, the seed, the transcending substance generated from the One, the Source. She thirsts for inward dulcitude that inebriates the mind. Feeling sweeter than honey enters into her immanence and inebriates her with its sweetness, so that she has honey and milk on her tongue and her lips distill the honeycomb, a memorial of abundant ambrosia, for the mouth that speaketh out of abundance of the heart. Love alone sets free and afflictions liberated from enslavement to anything of a nature inferior, hidden manna, not lost or asleep. The will alone is occupied in such a way that it is a prisoner, a slave to ever free, of desire, since it knows how to surrender to one whom it loves. How precious your love is, as to leave no liberty to love any but you. Is there anything more to be desired than charity? Charity which makes thee, O soul, no longer content with human tutelage. 2. It is an embrace, the awakening of faith, ultimate purity and unity, a wholeness which caresses everything that is uncreated and eternal. Emptiness is a fullness. The soul loves and knows not else. Bewildered and intoxicated with love. Unutterable delight in the enjoyment of its agony, which seems, to me, like nothing else but an almost complete death to all the things of this world. And in slaying, thou hast changed death into life. And death is absorbed in victory. 3. A naughted psyche whose self and whose activity have been brought to naught by means of grace. Celestial joys transform the soul and make it heavenly, a throne of repose and perfect rest. Spiritual sleep of the soul into the bosom of its beloved comprises enjoyment of all to the calm and rest and quietus of the peaceful night, as passing away from the inner and coming to an end in the dark silence whereof all lovers lose themselves, coalesced, shriveled up and buried in a grave that does not love. Noetic being. 4. Honor and glory must be renounced and completely rejected, for love in this life hast no other pleasure, nor desire. All the ability of my blood and flesh is moved through love. All that I do through love. All that I suffer for love's sake. Without love feareth torment and honoureth no grace. Honor and glory seasoned with the honey of love. Manifestation, reflection, the garment of inner perfection, imperishable and unchangeable in its essential doxa, perfect felicity above all glory, forth spreading by the same grace of might, of length and breadth and height and deepness without end. And all is one love. And in this love our life is everlasting. Part the fourth. The night is nothing other than a complete withdrawal of the soul from earthly things by an intense desire to love. In darkness enwrapped and falling, as one who has lost the way. 2. Rising in the morning dispels the nigrescence of the night and reveals the luster of day and the fruitive love and the fruitive possession, more than the striving, dynamic love and the partial, conditional possession. Even so this euphoria that is tranquil and quiet raised from the darkness in the midst of tranquility, and in the silence of the night there was spoken in me an idea of ideas, a secret logos, in the purest part of my soul, in the noblest ousia, in that very essence. I heard a harmony of sublimest music surpassing all melodies. And that euphime, sea sound, was silent, a most sounding solitude sonorously received in the pneuma. The spiritual sound of excellence. The central silence of pure peace and abode of heavenly birth, the arena of the vital breath, that lotus land of purity. 3. The fertile ground of piety is love, and the working of mercy is our keeping in love. Empathy is a sweet gracious working in love, mingled with plenteous pity and made perfect in its weakness, for Ruth worketh turning to us all things to good. 4. Iitium, the might and the goodness, light and grace that is all blessed love. I am that maketh thee to love, I am that maketh thee to long, Iitium, the endless fulfilling of all true desires. Iitium, a new visification of thy presence that is to raise thee out of the darkness of expiration into the light of life and give thee power to become, Iitium. Bruiser of the serpent resisting the evil of fallen nature, and so perfectly hating the able corruption of souls to rather suffer the flames of hell, wherein nothing burns but self-will, which when put off there is no will, than willingly be guilty of the error of never dying in love. 5. I found the mirror and kept it bright, clean from the corruption of the flesh and worldly vanity. I mortified the concupiscence of the flesh and the concupiscence of the eyes and the pride of life. And blind, beholding unto the naked being wretchedness with sorrow and contrition. All the being and power and virtue of the soul, a crystal clear and pure pearl. Part the fifth. Now mark, when the creature claimeth, the creature goeth astray and the creature falleth into descent through desire and through love into abysmal, uncomprehendable emanation and penetrates it in a way that is wayless. And in the fruitive inclination of the spirit, vanquishes. Make haste and come down, awaken then, O thou that sleepest, who from all eternity has been espoused to thy soul. The Sun of Righteousness will rise and illuminate minds to mae with macronty and enkindle their affections with burning love aglow with wondrous luster. Shut your eyes and change to and wake another way of seeing. Begin to search for this pearl, the secret of the sea, uttering thunderously, like a spent cloud, a thick cloud of unknowing, of forgetting, on the shore. Turn to thy heart and thy heart shall find. Take it and kiss it, wear it as an adornment, a diadem. Remembering thy lip, the ruby red, I kiss. Opposite operatio.